guys ever had a photo shoot where you think you got your settings dialed in properly and come to find out after you've done the shoot, you completely did not, and you missed a lot of shots because of it? That unfortunately and tragically happened to me recently on a shoot that I was doing where I thought I had it dialed in to where my shutter speed wouldn't go too low, and what I discovered is I totally screwed that up and didn't properly check my settings. With that being said, it brought me to doing this video for you guys, which is with regards to the auto ISO feature on the Fuji camera. The particular one I'm using is the X-T3. It's a really cool feature. If you haven't checked it out before or you're just not familiar with it, I really suggest setting it up. The nice thing about it is it allows for you to basically give a minimum to your shutter speed, or what you'd like the minimum to be, and then as well a minimum and maximum to your ISO so that it's staying within that specific range, and you can just focus on posing and the lighting and really put your attention on the other things to do with the shoot and not so much have to pay attention to your camera. Because ultimately for me, I really like to set it up where I've got control of my aperture. I know my shutter speed is going to stay at a certain setting to where it doesn't go too low, creating for blurry images. And then in between another range, I'm not really too concerned about where the ISO goes, because with this particular camera, it's pretty good up to about 6400. I found that works pretty well for ultimately just minimizing your grain content and keeping your photos clean. And the nice thing with Fuji is it's pretty simple to set up. Right, so what you're going to want to do is dive into your menu settings here, and you're going to scroll up until you get to the camera icon. And once you're there, go ahead and hit click enter on page 2, ISO auto setting. And as you can see here, I'm on auto 3. This is the one I've got set up for myself, which is having your ISO at a minimum of 160, your max at 6400, and then my shutter speed at 1/100th. If you put your ISO dial onto auto, and then on the back of your camera, you'll notice that it'll say ISO A3. It shows 6400, but it's just reflecting what you've set the max at. If I depress the shutter button by half, you'll see that it adjusts to 1000, and then my shutter speed is 100, which is what I set it for as far as the minimum, and my aperture is at the 2.8. Now I can also go ahead and just manually set up my shutter speed if I want, and then again depress, and you'll notice here it's at 1250. It hasn't affected my aperture or my shutter speed, but it's still just making sure that, you know, whatever I put those two at, it adjusts the ISO to, you know, match that and make for a balanced photo. By the way, one thing I forgot to mention is that if your ISO is having to go past 6400 to create a balanced image, what it'll do is start actually adjusting your shutter speed to be slower than, for in this example, the 1/100th, to create a balanced exposure. So just keep it in mind that if you're reaching that max that you set the ISO at, your shutter speed is going to adjust, and you may be in that territory where you're starting to get blurry images because of it. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys are aware of that too. I found it to be a pretty valuable tool to use. I hope it's valuable for you as well. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. All right, bye.